What is good, everybody? It is your boy TickleMyTaco, back at it with another Escape from Tarkov video, and today we're going to be pretty much going over a factory guide for you guys. So, let's get into it. Starting off with where I just spawned. This is what I call offline or ramp, mainly because you have this ramp right here. And you have another ramp right there. So when you're in offline mode, you'll always spawn right here. And even when you're not in an offline mode, you'll spawn like right here. So moving on to our next area, which is over here in this room, just off here to the left. This right here, if you have the factory key, unlocks this door, which, as you can see, I do have the factory key, so I'll show you. Can unlock it, and this opens up our first extract point, as you can see here. So if you go over to that wall, you'll be able to extract. So this is also considered offline, since these couple rooms right here are connected together, bringing us to our second spawn point, which is what I call barrels. So as you can see, at the end of this hallway, there's just a whole bunch of barrels stacked up on each other. So when you spawn in, you'll probably spawn like right about here, and this is called barrels, like I said. So moving on, this area right here, with all these shipping containers and concrete blocks that probably fell from the roof or something. This area is called PvE. Now in PvE, you're gonna have scabs spawn here. A lot of times a scab will be right here, kind of like stuck here, or they'll be in this corner over here, but they spawn usually somewhere in here. So moving on to our next area, if you move over towards this way, this is what I called 1986. Now 1986, you have kind of like two different areas for it. So this is I guess you could say top 1986, and then if you come down these stairs, this would be bottom 1986 right here. This ramp leads down here where offline is ramp, where the offline ramp is, which brings us to our next spawn point, which is red blinking light. So when you spawn here, you'll probably spawn somewhere like right about here. So when you spawn here, you gotta worry about that guy over there, because that guy could just peek and you could peek, and that's an automatic death or kill, depending if you're able to survive. So you gotta worry about that guy right there. So another thing is, it's important with factory is to try to keep in mind the players that you've killed. So that's an important thing. You could check once you kill someone if they're a player or a scab by checking to see if they have a pouch. So this I call blue dumpster by 1986. A lot of times scabs will be right here in this corner, or they'll be next to these oxygen tanks, I guess you could say. I don't know what these are, but sometimes they'll be stuck like right in here. So let's move along towards our next area. So I call this area right here, this kind of strip right here, mini silos, and a lot of times there will be scabs around this area, so you have to be very careful. And this is our next spot, our next point of interest. This is what I call blue dumpsters. You got a couple blue dumpsters here, and you have some crates right here. And a lot of times scabs will spawn usually back there, and they'll kind of move around here and around here, and sometimes they'll come in here. Sometimes they'll spawn in here actually too, and just kind of hang around right here, and they'll peek this mini silos right here. So just keep in mind when you're around this area, it's dangerous, you can be shot. Moving on to our next area, this is what I call stripper pole. Now stripper pole also has some crates right over here. I call it stripper pole because it's like a winding staircase. You have to go up, you have to go around, and then you get up here. So anything that's up here, like on where I'm at right now, all this area right here that's alongside, it's kind of like the edges, the borders of the map, is called rafters. So this area right here along the middle of the map is pretty much, you could call it mid. You could just call it mid. You could say mid in front of 1986, or yeah, that works. That works for that part of the map. So moving on, this right here is what I call bridge, or some people call sky bridge. So you have an opening here, and you have another opening here. So you gotta be mindful for the scabs that'll spawn over there. And then we're in the office building. So this is office building. It has 3 levels, and this game is all about sound. So as you can hear, it's kind of like a clunky wood sound on this floor. So if you go down to the second floor, it's a little different. It's more of a like rubble sound, like if you're stepping on rocks. But once you get into this room, which is our next area, this is this is what I call, some people call bathrooms or locker rooms. So you have a whole bunch of lockers in here, and then you have some showers and stuff right in this. And yeah, some people call it shower, some people call it locker room, but you have a lot of different little areas that people can hide in, so you got to be careful when you're coming through here. So moving on to our next area, if you open this door, we're gonna end up right back out in PvE. So this area right here that I'm on, as you can see, makes a very loud metal sound when you're walking on it. It's called stage. So stage, you have this top area right here, and you have these 2 green boxes right there that you could loot. I don't recommend looting any green boxes until you've killed all the players on the map. So this area right here is bottom stage, as of course it's under the top stage. So it also leads down to the ramp, down to the tunnel area, I mean, and we're back at red blinking light. So moving on to our next area, this over here is pit. Some people call it silos, some people call it pit. Either or works pretty well. You have 2 staircases on each side. You have one right here, you have another one right there. This one leads up to blue dumpsters and mini silos, and then this one leads up to mid. And if you come this way, where you're working our way towards the other end of the map where we spawn, this is white chem light. This is another spawn right here. So we've already covered 2 spawns. No, we've covered 3 spawns, and this is the 4th one right here. This is white chem. So this is another player spawn. If you work your way this way, come around here, both these 2 hallways lead to the same area, as you can see. This area right here is you could call it ramp for yellow golf cart. And if you come this way, this is what I call long haul under forklift, and you're gonna see why I call it that, because, or long haul under breach, because if you come over here, this brings us to another spawn. This is what we call breach, or a lot of people call breach, mainly because you have these 2 doors that you can breach pretty much. Let's see, can I breach this one? Yep. That's why it's called breach. I don't know if I can I breach this one too? No, I could probably breach it from the other side, but this is called the breach room, and this is another spawn. So this is the 5th spawn right here. And then if you come down below tunnels and you make your way over towards this staircase, as you can see, that's the room I just opened a door to, which is breach. And this area right here is our last spawn point, which is called forklift. So as you can see, we have a whole bunch of forklifts. A lot of people sometimes go back there to hide when they spawn here and kind of really just sound whore. And honestly, there's nothing back there. It's just a dead end pretty much. So just so you guys know, if you come over this way, we're headed back towards breach. Some people will come out of breach through here and maybe try to go get the guy at forklift, or they'll come out here and maybe try to get the guy that spawns white chem if he comes this way. So one of the good things is if you spawn white chem, you can kind of peek this right here and see if anyone breaches. If you come up this ramp, you could see if anyone comes out of here or if they come out of Forklift. So this area right here is scav spawn. I call it generators because you have some, I guess, generators here. I don't know exactly what machinery that is, but I call this whole area right here generators. So moving on to our next spot. This right here is what I call long hall, or not long hall, but glass hall. A lot of people call it glass hall because of these pretty much windows that I don't even know if you could shoot out of or not. I tried shooting people out of it once. I think you could shoot out through maybe the ones that don't have glass. Yeah, exactly. So the ones that do have glass, I don't think you could shoot through them. They haven't really fixed that yet, but this is glass hall right here. One thing I wanted to show you guys also, if you have factory key, you come down the staircase right under Forklift, you can unlock this room right here, and it unlocks our second extract. So we've covered 2 extracts out of the 3, and we've covered all 6 of the player spawn points. Moving on towards our next point. This spot right here, you need a key. I believe it's a silver key that unlocks this room. I believe I have it, but it's pretty much useless because there's nothing that really spawns in here that's worth anything, you know, good or valuable. So I just skip it. But a lot of people will come to the roof and they'll kind of hang out behind there, see if they can get a scav or 2 that are, you know, roaming around here. So this area right here, like I said, generators. I don't really call this anything else. But once you get over here, this is main extract over here, this corner. A lot of the times you'll see scabs spawning in this area. Sometimes over by his stripper pole, which is right over there, and they'll sometimes spawn by this great crate right here. So if you spawn Forklift and you come down glass hallway and come through here, just be very cautious about scabs spawning because they do spawn pretty quick once the match starts. So this is main extract right here. If you open this door, this is where everyone extracts when you don't have a factory key. Everyone has to come to this room and through that doorway to get to the extraction. So be very careful. If you don't have a factory key and you're new to the game, people like to camp in there sometimes and wait for people, or they'll sit behind these what I call pipes right here, and they'll try to sit here and wait for someone to come open the door and shoot them in the head. So just be cautious of pipes, be cautious of when you come into this first room and in that second room to extract. So moving on to our next spot, this is what I call suicide. Now suicide, the reason it's called suicide, if you're caught in this box, this is, you can shoot through this. This is bullet penetration heaven right here. So if you're caught in here and there's players out maybe over there, or even even like by stripper pole, this is a very dangerous spot to get caught at. So I wouldn't recommend looting this crate or just being in this area at all for too long. If you're gonna loot that crate, just be quick and make sure someone's covering you. So as you can see, we've worked our way back to the office building. We're on the second floor, and I'm going to show you the first floor, which is pretty much, a lot of people call this area a vending machine. I don't know why, but yeah, if you open this door, it'll open and you have stripper pole right there with the 2 green crates that you can loot. And last but not least, we're going to go up to the third floor and show you the room that the factory key unlocks. And there's possibility for a gun spawn, there's money spawn usually. I have not found any guns here, but as you can see, look, you have some attachments and you have just some other stuff, nothing too crazy though. There is a possibility for guns to spawn. So you have this floor spawn, you have the shelf spawn, and then you have the jacket. So that is about it. I pretty much covered just about everything on factory, and you guys know more or less now. For you new players, you know what callouts to use, and it'll help. I hope this video will help you guys, you know, in communicating with your teammates and knowing where you spawn. And because it could be very confusing, I know how it is. I know I know how when you're in a big group of 4 to 5 people, everyone's gonna be yelling, everyone's gonna be talking, and it just gets very confusing sometimes. So if everyone knows their callouts and everyone knows where their spawns and everyone knows how many players they killed, it makes factory so much more easier. Anyways guys, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Make sure if you're new to the channel to subscribe. Check out some of my other videos, and thank you so much for watching this video guys. I really appreciate it. Anyways, it's your boy TickleMyTaco signing out. Peace.